All right, everybody, welcome again to the Money Game with AC. If you're new to the channel, please give me a thumbs up before moving up to the next video. Now, I want to share with you something really interesting here because it is something I believe a lot of us are not really paying attention to, but it does have a pretty interesting amount of weight when it comes to whatever will be the price at which we would expect to sell in order to be really rich, if you kind of see what I mean here. Now, the thing is, the brackets in AMC are now changing. And they have been changing since these play have been evolving. Why? Because the type of the type of investments or the type of short squeeze play we do have here with AMC and GameStop and the other label meme stocks are not remaining at the very same stage they were. Why? Because of how the market evolves. That's number one. All right. Number two, the amount of discoveries when it comes to what is affecting the short sellers or what is affecting people who are buying and holding. All right. So that's number two. And then number three, well, the buying pressure. And by buying pressure, I mean the number of people who actually are now getting more and more and more into the stock. All right. Because if you just look at the institutional holdings of AMC, all right, whether you're going to MarketBit or Fintel, you will see that every single week, every single day, potentially, there are new investors. Either those coming from the short sale side or those coming from the buy side. All right. So that adds up to the base of the retail investors. All right. The apes. Those who've been buying and holding, and those who are kind of recruiting others, those who are now, kind of looking forward to also having a piece of the pie. Now, the problem is the pie used to be this big. All right. The pie used to be this big. But now the pie is shrinking a little bit. Why? Because you have a lot more people that are claiming, that are expecting to get a slice of the pie, to get a slice of this juicy, cheesy cake. So let's just think of this as the following. Let's imagine 1 year ago, all right? 1 year ago, we were, I don't know, 4 million people, all right? 4 million people that are buying and holding AMC. Now, if you take 4 million people and you divide by whatever the short squeeze number will be, it gives you kind of a sweet spot into where everybody will be willing to hold before they start dumping the shares in order to get like, you know what, this is enough money that I even start to imagine I will stumble upon. So let me get out of here, all right? Now, fast forward, almost 18 months now. Is it 18 months? 16 months now. Let's say we have 10 million people, all right? 10 million people. And within the 10 million, I'm including whoever is buying, all right? Now, you also have to take into consideration the pie has not moved, all right? We are still looking at 510 million shares being traded for AMC, outstanding out there. We are still talking about the same stock, but we have almost twice the amount of people. I mean, I'm just making numbers. I'm not saying these are the official numbers. I'm not making numbers just for you to understand kind of my point. And if you have twice the amount of people, but the pie is not changed, and everybody is expecting AMC to go to the moon, whatever the moon price could be or is for you, that means that sweet spot where everybody will be willing to wait to hold and see is now getting a little bit thinner. All right. Now, it doesn't mean that AMC will not do what it's supposed to do. It doesn't mean that there won't be any squeeze. I'm just saying, as you make your exit strategy, because you need to have one, folks. I mean, if you don't have one, I already explained to you how bad it is, especially when this thing goes to the moon. Because if you don't have an exit strategy, you better sell your shares now, because what happens next, even when you get six figure, you might end up being a lot more chaotic as a person financially than you were before if you have not have an exit strategy into how you're going to use that money to make it grow even further, so that you will never ever be in a position where your financial future depends on something or somebody. Now, that being said, again, it doesn't mean that the short squeeze is not going to happen. It only means that if you are waiting to a certain high number, extreme number, maybe the chances of this number getting there, especially with the amount of manipulation we've seen here so far, because literally at this point, AMC should be trading with a zero next to it, whatever the price is. All right. But that's not the case. And we have a lot more people coming and going. I mean, coming and holding. So you have to keep that into consideration. I mean, lots of people will say, no, AC, no, man, no, dude, I don't buy in your share or whatever. But folks, this is just how things work. Law of supply and demand. All right. So especially that I'm not expecting the short sellers, even when they let it run, I'm not expecting them to fold as easily. So we've seen it numerous times with AMC. That's why I always say, I hope for the best, but I also prepare for the worst. Simple as that, folks.